Hey guys, Jason here, Traditional Bow Hunting Wilderness Podcast. Today what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about your draw stroke on your bow and how it affects you. There's probably a method to figure it out, but it's pretty significant when you think about it. I'll give you an example. If you draw a 29-inch arrow, or a 29-inch draw, and you shoot a 45-pound bow, that is much different than somebody like me who draws 25.5 inches shooting that same 45 pounds of bow weight. I am getting a lot less energy because I have a shorter draw stroke. A good way to think about it would be back in the early days when the crossbows were becoming popular. Basically, it was like a 200-pound, and again, I don't shoot speed, I don't quantograph things, I don't know the exact number, but I remember hearing it was like a 200-pound crossbow was required because of its short draw stroke, that whatever 12 or something inches that draw stroke is on there, was like 200 and something pounds needed to match a 60-pound bow, compound bow being drawn to 30 inches. So there's a tremendous loss in that draw cycle where if you can draw, like I said, if you can get back far and stretch out, or you got a really long arms and you draw more, you're going to get more power out of that. What does that mean for us? It just means it's something to think about, to keep in mind, okay? We see a lot of people on the forums and stuff like that. Not that I'm on forums a lot, but in Facebook groups that start talking about how 45 pounds will blow right through the shoulder blades of animals. If you're shooting 45 pounds and you have a 28, 29, 30-inch draw length, it's a heck of a lot easier for you to do that than somebody who's drawn a 25, 26, 27-inch draw length. We have that shorter draw. Therefore, that power stroke is shorter. Power stroke is a distance that the limbs are going to bend and how long they are going to carry that. So if you draw here, as far as you draw, you only have this long of a draw stroke from the riser to here. Basically you only have a draw stroke from here to here, because this is how far you're pulling that bow back, and here is where the string is going to stop. That makes that is your draw stroke. But if we can get it back to here, you can see we have a much bigger draw stroke on here, but it's significant difference between people's draw lengths on how long that draw stroke from this point to this point will be. So it's important in the sense that it's important to understand what it does for you. Is it important to draw more? No, it is not. That doesn't mean you need to take that bow. I got a 27-inch arrow on here. I draw about 25.5, and I normally shoot like this. Okay, if you watch the end of that arrow on there, here's how I shoot. Okay, right there, that's how I shoot, right there. So that's what I have on the end. Does that mean that I should start doing this? No, it doesn't mean I should do that at all. Does it matter? Does it mean for somebody who shoots with a bent elbow like this and shoots this way and does this? Does that make that wrong? No, it does not. Okay, it doesn't matter anything for that. What it matters for is that you understand what the draw stroke, the power stroke of that. Okay, the draw stroke has a actual power stroke in it. There's a power stroke, which is a distance from here to how far you draw that bow, because that is what the limbs have the power to move from this point to this point to cast that arrow. So it's important that you know what that is for you, or have an idea of it in the back of your mind, so that you know what you can get away with bow wise. Like I said, if you're hearing people talking about how they blow through every single deer they shoot and they're only shooting 38 pounds, what's the draw length? Okay, are they drawing 30 inches, 28 inches? And yeah, I could definitely believe that. If you're somebody that's drawing, if you're drawing 24 inches, it might be a little harder to do that. There's no way to make it better. I can't make my arms longer. I can't do anything about it. But it's important to understand what it is. And if you have a shorter draw stroke, it's probably worth shooting just a little bit more poundage than somebody who has more, or just take it with a grain of salt at least on that fact. Look at all these gnats. Oh, I just came back from doing this loop and it was amazing. We're giving it a few minutes. We're going to check another area, but that draw stroke is crucial to understand how it works. Is it change anything about what you do? No, but it is up here for you to understand the variables. If you are shooting 40 pounds or 45 pounds with a very short draw stroke, a 3-to-1 or a good penetrating type head is going to be much more valuable to you than somebody who's shooting 45 pounds with a 29-inch draw. Okay, because they got all that extra power stroke in that string to cast and push that arrow for much longer of a time before it comes to brace. Again, going from here is just a quick thump, but going from here is a whoom. you know, and it gives it a lot more push behind it. It's the difference between, you know, somebody, if you're waiting in a lunch line at school and you take somebody and they're standing right next to you and they're right here and you just give them, or they're out here, they're this far away and you give them a little push like that, that only has so much power. But if they're right next to you and you take here and you go wham and you throw them, now you're sending them somewhere. It's the same concept is the power stroke of your bow that is going to do that same exact thing. So just keep it in your mind, and maybe it'll help you think about the way you want to set up, because we can't change our arms, we can't change our draw length, we can't change that kind of stuff. And like I said, I know a lot of people that shoot with a bent elbow that want to because it's accurate for them, and so they're you know, there's guys taller than me. Steve Teray is a perfect example. Look at Steve Teray. Steve draws about the same draw length I do, and I don't know, he's probably somewhere, I'm guessing, about that tall on me. I mean, the guy's a beast of a man. He's big. He's not the tallest guy in the world, but you know, I mean, I'm short compared to him, and he's drawing about the same that I am. Why? Because it is in his shooting style. That is the way he likes to shoot. He wants that elbow bent a little bit. He wants to hunker into it tight, and he comes back and he shoots fast, and it's right here like that for him. And look at how short mine is when I do that. Okay, so here's my normal right here, okay? Now, when I do it the way that Steve would, being hunkered in here, that arm bend, look at the difference, okay? You could see how it would cause a shorter draw for him because of that shooting style. Does that mean anything? No, but it means that he knows what his draw length is. He knows what his power stroke of that bow is. He understands that. He can build his arrows and stuff to match that. He also, like I said, the guy shoots super heavy weights anyway, so it doesn't matter. But for you guys that are shooting lower weights, keep that in mind. Build your arrows accordingly. Just because somebody on the internet says that they got a 45-pound bow that'll shoot 700 feet per second, don't think for a second that yours is gonna, or don't be surprised when yours only shoots 140 feet per second. It's okay. Just understand why and how that power stroke comes into play. Now, for you guys that think of it as kind of a disappointment to have a shorter draw stroke, or you're like, oh man, that's a bummer, my power stroke's short, I only draw 26 inches, I only draw 27 inches. I actually prefer it. Okay, I'm glad that I have a short draw. I'm quite okay with that. Why? Because it lets me shoot a shorter length bow than a lot of people do. And because my arrows get to be shorter as well too. Imagine if my arrows were, these are 27 inches long. Imagine if they were 30 inches long, they're sticking out down here further, okay? They end up getting to be a longer arrow, which means there's more noise in the back ends of them, or I have to spread my grippers out farther. I don't have a lot of room to spread grippers out further on a riser, on an ASL. So there's all these kind of variables that come into play. My arrows will pass through quicker on an animal than a longer arrow does, because there's 3 inches less shaft that has to actually make it out to exit before he runs off. There's a lot of neat little things that come into play when you actually have a shorter setup. I don't mind it one bit. People that got long draws, it's hard for them sometimes to get higher FOCs. It's tougher for them to find shafts. You know, Dave, my buddy Dave, you know, he's like 6'8" or something like that, and he has to, it's hard for him to find arrows. He can only shoot specific arrows because he has a 32.5-inch draw length, okay, on his compound. 32.5-inch draw length. That's massive. Trying to find a 33.5, 33-inch arrow, it gets very complicated. So all things have trade-offs. Don't think that your short draw, you know, your short draw length and your short power stroke is a hindrance. Just understand how it works in your system so you know how to build your system to be the most efficient for you. There you go. That's my best tip for you. Thanks for watching.